Did you guys hear Como Meow right when I hit go?
Mm-hmm.
Hope it got recorded. It was really cute.
Me too. That will be the cold open if it got recorded. Just a little meow.
Oh,
There it was.
Great energy. Hello and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that they're really, really tired about. I'm Hannah. And these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Hannah. Hey, Ben.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Look at my
how you
energy.
feeling?
Wow. Woohoo. Ah,
I got energy. Got a lot of energy. Got a lot of people trying to take away my energy.
Centipedes.
I got centipedes. Got a lot of centipedes. Got a lot of people trying to take away my centipedes.
I love that. It's way better than the original. I have never heard the original, but...
I only heard
it's
it so that I could sing the centipedes version properly.
All right, we got to do a big shout out up front to our brand new cousin.
Oh, big shout out.
Big shout out. Do we want to say her name or just our cousin's name?
Both.
Okay. You do it.
Oh, shout out to Jesse and Steven and their brand new baby girl. Is this a test? Is this a name test? Is it Juliana?
I honestly, I actually don't know.
Juliana?
I think it can be said both ways. I would have said Juliana, but you could be right.
Juliana. I am just so thrilled to meet her.
Me too.
And Jesse and Steven, if you're listening, just major shout outs. We love you. We love her already. Don't even need to meet her to know that.
Yeah.
But we need to meet her.
Hashtag brown exceptionalism.
Right.
Hashtag great job. Hashtag giving birth.
Hashtag successful baby. Congratulations on successful baby.
Congratulations. Very exciting.
Yeah. That was a great shout out.
Can I give another shout out up front?
Yeah, frickin' do.
I want to give a shout out to the Boston Red Sox, who are 15-2 right now, have the best record in baseball, and are really good, and I'm happy about it.
Wow, that's great.
I heard they've done 2 Grand Slams on the Yankees.
They've done 4 Grand Slams this season so far, and there have only been 17 games.
Wow.
And they had 0 last year.
Wow. I gotta start watching those boys again.
I hear their socks are red.
It's true.
This one time, in a really big game, this one pitcher bled on them.
Kurt Schilling, who is now a radio host for Breitbart.
Yeah, he also had like a failed video game company.
It was a movie company.
He's not a great dude.
I believe it was a movie company in Rhode Island, right? Movie studio.
It was in Rhode Island, yeah.
Oh.
He said he was going to bring a bunch of jobs, and then it just failed.
What's everybody drinking?
You start.
I just finished my Sprite.
Hey, a Sprite.
Sprite.
Yeah.
Are you feeling Sprite? Is that a word for a way that you can say that?
Like if you're touching a Sprite, yeah.
Well, if you're feeling like Sprite.
We've given you 2 perfectly good suggestions and you've ignored them completely.
A word that you could say in that way? I'm feeling sprightly.
I think because you're thinking of sprightly or spry.
I'm
Those are both good options.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Sprite.
How do you feel after your Sprite?
I feel Sprite.
See, it's catching on. Making it happen.
Ben has set the bar so low for his drinks to be interesting.
No, we're excited about fucking Sprite.
We're like, oh my god, Sprite!
Lemon and lime? Whoa.
That's actually very weird for you, Ben.
Yeah,
though.
that is weird.
Yeah, there's not a lot of water in the full story. Our sink is full of dishes, so we couldn't fill up our Brita, and then the only cold drink in the fridge was a can of Sprite. So, alas, I have Sprite.
Hashtag wish it were water.
Honestly true.
Yeah.
Hashtag lazy first world problem.
I'm kind of drinking a Sprite in that I'm drinking... Well, I actually thought I was drinking a lemon lime seltzer, but now that I just look at it, it's just a lemon seltzer.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, but
What about lime, though?
I feel like I'm drinking a Sprite every time I drink a lemon lime seltzer.
Well, if you combined it with my mouse, which Ian got lime juice all over before he gave it to me, then you would have.
I really heard mouth until like just the bitter end of the word. And so most of the time that you were saying that word, I was thinking you were saying if you combine it with my mouth. But it was only at like
yeah,
mouth.
Doesn't everybody's mouth secrete a particular flavor?
I mean,
Mine's
it's a more believable thing for you to say than mouse. I mean, honestly.
Anyway, I'm drinking water, and I'm also drinking a wonderful cider, my favorite cider. It's called Rojo. Have you guys heard of it?
She's beside herself.
I am. Listen, okay, this is what it looks like. It's very red.
It looks like
I don't know why you think that
beer.
will look that interesting.
Well, the light's bad in here. I got bad light, but it's red. It's not like
light.
regular like piss colored.
Do you have the light of a
cider.
podcast candle running?
I do, but
Okay.
it's not helping.
That's
very
the term
much.
you use
Hang
for
on.
a candle. Running
or on.
or on.
Well,
Have you
okay.
seen-
Okay, whoa. Okay.
Now it
That's
looks like it's
just-
made of gold.
Yeah, now it looks golden. Is it
Hang
gold?
hang on. I couldn't see what it looked like. Hold on.
I just don't need to know the exact color of your freaking sun.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, we're
sorry.
spending a lot of time looking at something on an audio medium.
But listen, I gotta Google it real quick. Hold on.
You have to Google what it looks like.
No. Bantam Rojo. It's a local place. Well, Bantam is. And they make this amazing cider, and it's actually really hard to find. And the last time that I was in my local alcohol establishment asking for it, they were like, no, we don't carry that, and we don't know what it is, and you suck. And I was like, okay, great.
Well, you suck,
Fuck.
actually.
Fine.
You burnt.
Fuck you then. I'll buy something else. Which I should have just left. But then the next time that I came, they had it, and they had like 4 packs of it, and it's like $11 for a 4-pack like of cans, which is not bad.
Is it dry?
So, it's tart. It's dry and tart. Let me see. It's made from local heirloom and traditional New England apples, and then it's fermented with an ale yeast, a hearty ale yeast, and aged with sour cherries and black peppercorns.
Oh.
And it's so good. It's semi-dry is what they say.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's like really, it's got a really nice fruity, like tart cherry aftertaste to it. It's not tart like a sour beer, because, you know, I like those too. It's just, it's still refreshing, but it's really sour.
So
Not really sour. It's really tart.
So it's a hard cider to find.
So we bought them out. We bought all of them.
And
all
Wow,
the ones
cider.
they
you
had.
got nothing for that.
Absolutely nothing.
It was just steamrolling through that.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Listen, sometimes you gotta leave some for the audience to enjoy by themselves.
It's like not every joke needs a laugh track, okay? And by that I mean I don't need to laugh at everything.
Right.
It sounds really good.
It's so good.
Hannah, have we ever taken you? You haven't spent too much time in Durham outside of, but at Thanksgiving even have we taken you to the cider place in Durham? We have a local cidery that has all sorts of ciders on tap.
We had like a bunch of growlers from
that's
it at
right.
Thanksgiving, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, how
I
is
haven't
it
actually
on
been there.
tartness compared to what? I don't know what ciders you drank at Thanksgiving, but
All of them.
oh, okay. How is it on tartness and like dryness compared to some of those?
It's not the driest cider I've ever had, but it's only really tart like in the middle of the sip, and then it kind of finishes just like cherry. It's never sweet, but
Right.
it's
In its
not like it
defense,
doesn't
it only
like,
claims to be semi-dry.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
it doesn't like slap the back of your throat like
Yeah,
a Magners or something.
right. It looks very wet in your cup. It doesn't look dry at all.
It's about
Is it
as
a
wet as
powder?
you can get. I like the idea.
Trying to
that
paint a
anything-
picture for the listener.
I like to have a cup of water nearby with the cider I drink.
So I could cut the powder.
Sprinkle a little on my tongue. Well, that's a good cider. Well, I'm also drinking a decaffeinated tea.
Decaf tea.
Decaf tea.
I don't know what that was.
It's literally what it is, decaf tea.
David Duchovny.
But I said it, yeah.
A decaf tea.
The decaf tea. I like that. So can we have a Janelle Monáe corner now?
Janelle Monáe corner.
Janelle Monáe corner.
Did something else
Absolutely.
come out that I missed?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a new dang song. That's
Oh
what I was trying
wait,
to
no,
tell
I
you
did
about.
listen to that. I did listen
Okay.
to that.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I like it too. It's good.
And then, okay, I need to also say this. I started listening to yoga a lot. Do you know the song Yoga?
Baby bend over.
Yeah.
By that
I
I mean
hadn't-
yes.
Yes. I hadn't heard that song until, recently when we got into this Janelle Monáe phase. And you cannot police me, so get off my areola is the fucking best line
Yes.
of any song ever. And then she
Yes.
repeats it.
Yeah. Yeah. She drives it home. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, how is there a song that's been out since 2015 that's had the line "get off my areola" in it twice, and I just heard about it?
I just feel like we were Janelle Monáe blind and deaf because
Yeah.
now that we know about her, I'm like, she's been everywhere. Like there was this YouTube video that I had already watched, and it was like an SNL video where they like have a character of her, like just very briefly, and I was like, I watched this and I was like, oh whatever, Janelle Monáe, I don't know who she is.
She's a fucking artist and a feminist and an entrepreneur.
She's a queen.
Yeah.
An entrepreneurmanist.
I gotta try to spell that.
God. That's what she is. We should tell her that. She's just so good. I love her so much. I also, when that song came out, Hannah, I thought of you immediately because you mentioned that you love songs that have fuck in the chorus.
I do. Does it have?
Yes.
I like that. Does?
I think it does. I don't give a fuck if you don't like that or whatever. Is it? Maybe it's in the
Oh, yeah.
pre-chorus. But I thought it was in the chorus.
Yeah. Hang on. Now I gotta look.
I
at the lyrics.
think it's in the chorus.
But I really like the line "I'm the random minor note you hear in major songs" a lot.
Oh man. Oh, and that's why you're trying to find a minor note.
That it is.
It comes together.
That would be artful.
I have so much upfront stuff for you today, you guys.
Okay, I'm ready. We don't have to have a 30-minute Janelle Monáe corner every week.
Well, no, I don't want to cut it off. I just thought of something. It led into a tangent, but I want to finish up Janelle Monáe corner.
You're right. I don't really give a fuck if I was just the only one who likes that or whatever.
Right. Yeah, Hannah was telling me in private that she likes, and by that I mean just when we were talking and not recording ourselves, which we do from time to time. And she was telling me,
Like when we
In
were
confidence, she told me
normal
this.
human conversation.
she's telling me in private that she really likes songs that have the word "fuck" in the chorus. She
Yeah.
said that to me in confidence. So.
Yeah.
And
I
I
do.
was like, she can edit that out this week, but guess what, motherfuckers? I'm editing it this week.
Oh, you are already? That's great. I was thinking about asking you to do that.
You already did.
Oh my God. What a hero you are, and I am. What a hero we are.
I think you started that sentence, "What a hero," to tell us that you were a hero, and then realized that that would sound bad, so called me a hero, and then we're like, oh, and me too. That was my read on that, what just happened there. Am I incorrect?
I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything.
Your no comment implicates you.
You can draw your own conclusions.
What a hero you are, and me.
And me as an afterthought.
What's your Erin? What's your upfront stuff?
Okay, so the one is that I think it's really humorous. God, I'm really tired. Humorous.
Humorous, you had it.
Humorous.
Yeah.
No, I was adding a T on the end. I was saying humorist.
Oh.
It's really humorous how So Dreamy, the podcast, Hannah's other podcast, which is great. It like always warns listeners that there may be cursing and it's not appropriate for young children. And then there's like nary a curse, like every once in a while. And ours says clean on it. Oh, and there's and on iTunes there's an explicit warning on So Dreamy.
Listen,
our podcast, which
I've
we
been
curse
trying to get that changed
all the days, has like clean fun on.
That is an accident. I can't
So
figure out
great.
how to fix it.
I love it. It's so good. So that was my first upfront thing. The second upfront thing. So listen to this. We, like, the day after we recorded last week's episode and you told me about I'll Be Gone in the Dark, I used one of my many Audible tokens and purchased it. And we listened to it. We had a 5-hour drive to Maryland and a 5-hour drive home. So we listened to it almost the whole way. I drove, like, most of the way there and back. And when we were coming back, it was Sunday night, and we were driving. So I listened to this thing for like almost 5 hours to this audiobook. And it's obviously so good and so scary.
Yeah.
And it's just, as Hannah said last week, is about like this fucking serial killer who was never caught, who would like come into people's houses while they slept and
Oh my god.
and kill them in their houses.
Yeah.
And that night, I woke up to the sound of... So I listened to that all day. That night,
God.
I wake up to a sound. Henry's barking ferociously.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I
god.
sit up in bed. Something is like moving around downstairs. Unmistakably, like moving around. I go to turn off the light. On the light, the power's out.
Wow.
And it is like stomping around down there. I'm
Oh my
terrified.
God.
I start to reach under the bed for my baseball bat, and Molly puts her hand on my shoulder and says, "It's the Roomba." So apparently when the power goes out, the Roomba on its little dock is like, "Oh, I'm not charging anymore. Time to vacuum." And so it was rolling around downstairs all over the hardwood floors, making it sound like somebody was like in our fucking house.
Oh my god.
And the power was out, and my glasses had fallen off the table. So I was like blind. It was dark. I was like, my head was full of serial killers, and my dog was like, somebody's fucking in the house. I'm so glad Molly was there and is like more aware and present than both me and Henry, because she was like, Erin is the vacuum cleaner, and then like 10 seconds later gets stuck on something. It was like beep 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 beep. So that's my story.
That's crazy.
Thanks a lot,
Oh my
Hannah.
goodness. Oh, hey, by the way, I listened to 36 Questions on the plane.
Oh, cool.
In my travels this week, and I thought it was really good, and I do have thoughts about it, but I want to hear the rest of your upfront stuff first.
Yeah, I actually haven't finished the podcast of 36 Questions. I did listen to the music a ton, but I haven't. I've been absorbed with I'll Be Gone in the Dark, so let's push that to next week. I think that's all my upfront stuff.
Okay.
We could talk about 36 Questions, so I didn't finish it, but I know the gist because of the music.
No. That's fine. I was just trying to think if there's anything else. Ben, do you have any upfront stuff? How's your day, Ben?
Long.
No, she was talking to me. She was asking me how my day has been.
Hey, I got a funny story.
How's your day been? Oh, good. Thank you for asking.
I got a funny story about Ben. About Ben's name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
Is that your
cat?
cat?
Jumped onto the desk in
Oh
a
my God.
fucking flurry. Are you
In
okay?
a flurry.
Insane.
I don't think I've told this story on Snack before. So, I was thinking the other thing about So Dreamy that's funny is that we explain what our podcast is every single time. And like, we've not, I guess there's like that one line at the beginning, but I was realizing the other day, like, we haven't explained what the deal is with our podcast since I think episode 1. Like, what the concept
It's stuff
is.
that we're really, really excited about. And if you don't know about that, then get out. JK, you can stay.
You can stay. Yeah. Okay, so this one time.
Which is funny because So Dreamy is like so obvious. Like if you didn't know, you would know. And ours is like you couldn't pick that up from like the title or anything.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
It's true. So, okay, so this one time somebody left a card, probably like a Pokemon card that they cared about on the counter or something. And then Ben and I were like at that counter and he like was absentmindedly like folding it and he made a mess out of it. And I like wasn't registering that it was an important thing. We were just like having a conversation, or he was probably like pretty young. So I was just probably being like, oh, shut up, Ben. Like, you know, like I still do all the time. And then he left.
Yeah,
and
we do
probably,
not get along.
Yeah, they
Never
hate each
have.
other. They freaking hate each other.
So he left, and probably Lucas, our other brother, showed up, and he was like, "Oh my God, who did this?" And I was like, "Oh, Ben did." And he goes, "I know it's Ben did. Who did it?" It really happened. That's like
That's so great.
I don't remember that.
you weren't there.
Oh, that explains it.
Sweet Lucas thought you were so simple that you just sometimes point at things and say, Ben did.
Oh my God, Ben did.
Yeah. It was great.
You point at your cup and go, Drinky.
Powder.
Empty.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we start off? Erin is first this week.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, my obsession is another just amazing black femme artist. Her name is Jamila Woods.
Ooh.
Have y'all heard of her?
I've not.
Well, I found her on NPR's Tiny Desk concert.
Shout outs.
Shout outs. Yeah, I was just kind of perusing and saw this one, and it's just amazing. She is her music's really political. It's really what's the word? It's like black power and like, you know, female power, and just like really and has really a lot of themes of self-love and self-care and self-sufficiency and loving yourself. And she's very poetic. I think she's a poet as well as an amazing lyricist, and you can really tell from her music. So,
Cool.
yeah, so I first found her Tiny Desk concert, and I'm going to go ahead and say start with that. So look at it was from, I think, February. It might have been February of this year or last year. I can't remember. It might have been just from February. And it's so good. And something that drew me to it, it was like I was looking at Tiny Desk, and then they started playing one, and it was just a bunch of white dudes. And I was like, I just don't want to watch this right now. And so I wanted, so I clicked to this one, and I just loved it because, like, she is this powerful black woman. Most of her bands are black. Her keyboardist is a black woman, and I just like loved that, and I loved the energy, and I loved the music is so good, and her lyrics are so powerful, and I think that's just it was a really impressive performance. And it also has a song that's not released anywhere that she plays that's just incredible. So I would start with that, and then so that's what I started with, and then I've been listening to her album HEAVN. Is that what it's called? HEAVN. HEAVN.
You tell us. That's the whole point of this.
Can somebody look it up for me? Anyway, it's great, and I just love the music. It's so groovy. The lyrics are fantastic. I love all the themes. There are songs such as Very Black, What's another one that's really good? Black Girl Soldier. Those are both like really incredible songs, and I just like love their themes and the content, and they're just so politically minded. What's really delightful about a lot of these songs is they kind of like, they're very much their own songs and own ideas and own her like original. They're very much original songs, but every once in a while, there are about 3 songs that do this. They'll kind of weave in a cover in a way, or like sample a song, but not like sample the actual clip, but sample the lyrics or the music, or like or the melody, but kind of turn it in a way. A good example is that the song Very Black has kind of a rhythm and kind of an allusion to the Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, kind of follows kind of a pattern like that, which is really fun, and it's a great song. And the other one is HEAVN. At first I thought it was going to be a cover of The Cure, Show Me, Show Me, Show Me How You Do That Thing, or, you know, that song, which I think is just like HEAVN.
No idea.
No, show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. The one that makes me... Yeah, that one. But it's not a cover. It just kind of uses that melody and those first words, but then kind of spins it off into a new direction. So it's just really fun. And then there's a third one, which I'll leave as a surprise, but that one is on Lonely, I think. But they're just, the music's so good. This whole album is great. The song Holy is really great. She does that one on the Tiny Desk concert. The first lyrics, I think, or maybe not. The chorus lyrics are, woke up this morning with my mind set on loving me. And then it's all about like, kind of just like loving yourself and praising yourself and being like holy just on your own and not, you know, needing anybody or whatever. Anyway, great music, really good music, very poetic. I'm excited to see what else she comes up with. Like, such an artist, you know?
You really like artists. That's something that I've learned about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do.
I'll check it out. I have the link to the Tiny Desk concert, so we can put it, or you could put it in the outline. I mean, in the description.
We're all having a rough. We're having a sleepy Thursday this morning.
Sleepy Thursday edition. Way too broad. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, that's mine.
Good job.
Short and sweet. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do an honorable shout out to a song.
Okay.
God.
How are you going to make it honorable?
How will I ever find it? Okay, I have it. So I was listening to HEAVN, the album, again today, and it are you still laughing? She's like snorting into her cider. I don't know if this is some like experience, if this is like a recommended way of drinking cider. You know how you like sniff your wine before you're like supposed to snort into your cider halfway through. It's like a tasting note.
I started thinking about how will I ever find it again as I was drinking my drink, and I just got into a lot of trouble. Okay.
Oh man. Anyway.
Continue.
Just real quick, that reminded me, I was at this thing tonight I want to get into, but it was like an icebreaker thing. We were doing 2 truths and a lie. And my good friend was there, and it was like other people didn't know him, right? Like it was like he was introducing himself, but I obviously know him. And I had taken a sip of water right as he said his lie, which was like, I just started getting into woodworking. And it was like such a preposterous thing that I like spit out my water a little bit. And everybody was like, That's the lie. I felt bad for sabotaging him, but it was just I was like looking at him, and it was like such a funny thought. Anyway, okay, the honorable mention, I was listening to HEAVN, the album, and you know how when you're done an album or whatever on Spotify, it'll just play you some similar songs in a similar vein.
Mine stopped doing that. I don't know why.
You can turn it on in settings.
Oh, I guess I turned it off at some point.
Yeah, you can toggle it on and on in settings. On and on. There are only 2 1 options. There's only 0 and 1 options. So it's from, the band is Donnie Trumpet and the Social Experiment, and the song is Sunday Candy. It is incredible. I was like, ooh, maybe this whole album is good. It's not really, but that one song is pretty great. So just an honorable shout out to that.
That's another thing that we could do is...
Sorry. He's standing on my mobile preamp. Please don't stand on that. Okay.
What's the song?
Sunday Candy. Come here, you sweet angel. Talking to my dog.
That's another thing that we could do is, like, you know, a lot that we're doing, like, we're compiling videos that we just watch all the time now. We could also compile, like, one-offs, like, not like one-hit wonder songs, but just, like, songs that we found on Spotify that we really like.
We could make a Way Too Broad Spotify playlist, you guys.
We totally could. But can it just be songs that are, like, it's the only song that we seem to like from this band?
Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. We can make a few.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it gonna? It's probably just gonna be a Janelle Monáe playlist, though, right?
Well, we could have that one.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we could have a few. That's a good idea.
Are you telling yourself that or me?
It was your idea.
It's your idea, though, Anna.
What a hero I am. I mean, you. I meant you.
Wasn't that song about being your own hero?
Being holy.
Good point.
Oh.
I am holy.
I'm gonna check her out. That sounds great.
Yeah, great. You just listen to it from the top to the bottom, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Top to the bottom. Now we're here. So.
That's our second Drake reference this
I know.
podcast.
I didn't know the first one was a Drake reference because I don't find Drake's music that compelling. #sorry, I guess.
# don't at me.
You know,
I don't care.
fucking, I listen to a podcast every week called Who Charted, which is about they talk about the music charts on it. That's what's called Who Charted. And the, like, top Billboard songs for the past few months have just been, like, shitty mumble rap.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
I don't get
like,
it.
You know Lil Xan?
No.
He's this, like, 21-year-old white guy with a bunch of dumb face tattoos who, like, apparently used to be addicted to Xanax, so he calls himself Lil Xan.
That sounds
Oh.
healthy.
And he's just the worst.
It's the worst. I tried to listen
and, like,
to
he
some
doesn't, when he raps, it's just all vowels. He doesn't have, like, speak any fucking consonants.
It's
unintelligible.
Don't you just feel like there's something you're absolutely missing?
I really do. Like, I feel like, I just feel like I feel like I don't get some crucial, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea.
Doesn't it make you feel old as fuck?
Yeah. That
I guess so,
me...
but, like, I'm fine with it, because if
I
that
know
being
it's
young is
good.
liking Lil Xan, then fuck it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about that rock and
But
roll.
also, like, he's like a year younger. Like, we're the same age practically. So apparently I should be getting it, but I don't. Although I guess his fan base is, like, a lot of teenagers and young
You're
people.
an old soul.
Was he a YouTuber?
I don't think so. I don't know anything about him other than that he has really shitty face tattoos and can't enunciate.
Yep.
That's another thing that always makes me feel old when that thing happened with the suicide forest
Logan Paul.
thing. Yeah, and I didn't know who the fuck that was. And even after it was explained to me, I still didn't understand why anyone gives a shit about him.
Right.
He and his brother both grew on YouTube faster than, like, anybody has
But
in the
why?
past.
They're so
No, I
annoying.
don't. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's really
every YouTube celebrity I know about is a fucking over-entitled, incredibly annoying blonde white dude. Like, why?
Hey, Jenna Marbles though.
Jenna Marbles is also blonde.
She's not
But-
blonde.
She used to be.
She changes her hair color like every month.
She's fine. I don't think she's bad. I also don't think she's great.
I like her.
That's cool. I mean, it's fun.
The heart wants what it wants. You know who I like is Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, she's a queen.
Janelle Monáe.
It's Ben's turn. Great segment, Erin. I'm gonna check her out. Have a whole
Cool.
new
World.
artist to listen to.
Mine is actually a YouTube channel.
Oh,
YouTube.
Or I guess it's kind of two, but there's like one main one that I like.
tube.
It's called Jun's Kitchen.
Oh,
Jun.
Jun. Jun.
Jun's Kitchen.
Yeah. It's a Japanese guy making really good food. And like it's very well shot from like a lot of different angles, and he also has 3 really cute cats and 2 of them just like sitting watching him make food. And he's a really interesting person because he's Japanese, but he speaks like perfect English, and he's married to an American woman and they live in Japan together, and she's like
cool.
super white, like bright red hair. And so they have another channel called Rachel And Jun, where they basically like they're sponsored by, I think, by like a lot of Japanese travel companies. So they make a lot of videos of like going to different kind of relatively remote places in Japan that like aren't the common tourist spots. Like they went to the Fox Village. That's actually a pretty common tourist spot, but it's not like in near Tokyo or any of the big cities. It's pretty far out there. Have you heard about this place, the Fox Village in Japan?
No.
They like they have it's a village where they raise basically like a bunch of kind of semi-domesticated foxes.
Oh.
They don't like have them as pets, but like they live in like a big sanctuary and they're really comfortable with humans. And they have like this whole system where they have like a good infrastructure for like veterinary care for the young ones, and like playpens for when they're adolescents, and then they have like a big open area where they get to live in when they're adults.
Wow.
Did they raise them? Did they like breed them to be more docile?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I don't think there's much like human intervention that goes on.
Well, so the reason I ask is because I read an article once about I need to stop watching this video. It's your fault I'm watching it. I'm not just watching a random video.
What are you watching?
I'm watching his most recent video where he makes sushi and his cats are watching.
It's so
and it's really
satisfying.
fucking
All his
cute.
videos are so satisfying.
Yeah, they're satisfying.
Satisfying.
I read an article or something about an experiment where they started breeding foxes like they were going to domesticate them, and what was interesting about it was that it seems like the like trait of being like friendlier and calmer with humans and stuff also seems to be linked to some other features that you might recognize from like dogs and cats, like
that was in
floppy
Russia,
ears
right?
and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That was in Russia, right?
Maybe. I don't know enough of the details to even really look it up successfully.
And didn't it
but-
like? I feel like I also heard about that and remembered that it was like surprisingly quick that they were able to like change these features and like domesticate. Like it was within 1 or 2 generations.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
rings a bell.
It was really wild.
I
No,
saw
it's the opposite of that.
I saw a fox in my backyard chasing a squirrel the other day.
Foxes are really cool.
It was so cool to witness. I was like, what the fuck is that? It was so graceful. But it was like clearly across my backyard right as I happened to look out, and it like gracefully hopped over a fence, and the squirrel was like probably a goner, honestly.
We love foxes.
Circle of life.
Yeah.
Ian and
Oh,
I.
they also went to the cat island in Japan. There's actually a couple cat islands in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
But it was that video was like kind of sad because that island is like not, its population is like less than 100 now. It's gotten much, much smaller than it used to be. And
people, you
most of
mean?
its of people, and most of its elderly people. So they don't like the cats. Obviously, they're like all strays, so they don't really get a lot of care or help. It's not like the Fox Village where like there's an infrastructure in place to help them like live. It's just like happens to be an island where there are a ton of stray cats, and like they're all really cute. And it seems like the only food that they really get is when like tourists come and buy food from the local stores and then like feed them. They don't have like a reliable source otherwise because it's a pretty small island. Yeah, it was kind of sad, but it was still it was a cool video. And they said in the video were like, if you're ever in Japan, we encourage you to come visit this anyway because it's like kind of the only support that the locals get also, and it seems like the only way that these cats can continue to survive is if people keep visiting.
Wow.
Yeah. They also have videos just about their cats. like they have one cat whose name is Pokey, who's this like black and white, really silly, insane cat who was like a rescue that they literally like found on the side of the road almost dead. And like brought him to a vet, and his tail had to be amputated, or part of it did, and then they got him back, and he looks like he's like so healthy now, and it's a really great story. He's insane. Like he keeps jumping into their trash can, and it's just an interesting like I haven't watched these videos as much, but like they also have some videos on like the differences between Japanese and American culture from like the perspective of an American woman living in Japan married to a Japanese man,
Cool.
Which is like really interesting to hear about. Kylie and I kind of started watching them because we both really miss Japan still.
Do you think you would want to ever move there? Like live there?
I would, not for like a long time, like a year or two maybe. I definitely would.
Like in a year or two, or like for a year or two?
For a year or two.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stay there for a long time. The main reason is because it's so homogenous. And it's like really jarring. I don't feel like we realize how used to seeing people that look different from us, like we do in America all the time. But like when you're in Japan, I'm not saying this like in a racist way, like all Asian people look the same. I just mean like everyone is Japanese. Like
right.
There's no other races there really.
Right.
It's like, and so as part of that, like if you live there for 20 years, you're still going to be looked at and treated like a foreigner. In fact, there was a thing about that in Chihayafuru, the anime I was talking about a couple weeks ago, because there was like one game where they played against people that looked like foreigners. Like they were like made to clearly look like they were not Japanese. Like one of them was black, which is a big sign because there are no black people in Japan. And everyone kept calling them foreigners, but then like they found out that they had all grown up in Japan. They just happened to have parents that weren't Japanese. And like even after finding that out and finding out they like consider themselves Japanese, so they grew up here, everyone still referred to them as foreigners.
Jeez.
Just because like that's kind of the culture.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to live there. The main point of this spiel is it would be hard to live for a long time, I think, because you'd never really feel
like you
totally
were accepted
belong.
Or you fit in.
Yeah, that's not easy. His cats are so well behaved.
Yeah, they are, and he has a video about how he trained them.
Really?
And actually, we've been doing that. So the main thing he does, in all of his cooking videos, while his cat's watching, you'll notice that like every time he slices an ingredient, he lets both the cats sniff it.
Yeah.
And he said like that's basically how he keeps his cats from like jumping and like trying to steal food and stuff, is because the main reason they do that is because they're really curious animals. And so if you just like satisfy their curiosity right away by letting them sniff it, because that's like the main way they like take in information, then they won't like jump and try and steal as often.
They're picky little fucks, and they probably won't like it.
Exactly. Like, and then if you try and give them the same ingredient to smell later, if they don't care about it, they won't like do anything. They won't even try to sniff it because they like know what it is and they'll be bored by it.
Boring.
And so now his cats just like watch him cook.
That's
while
really
sitting on
cute.
the chair. It's adorable.
Molly's family cat sits on a chair and watches you no matter what you're doing. Like if we are playing a board game, they put a little high chair there and like a higher chair, and the cat Leo will jump up and just sit there and watch you for as long as you're doing whatever you're doing.
Is that
so
the orange
cute.
one that gets sleepy?
No, it's the black and white one.
Oh.
He's black. He's a little tuxedo cat. He's black and he's got a little white speck on his lip. Makes you want to be like, hey, you got something on your face.
Como
Oh,
likes
man.
to sit on top of the cabinet and watch us cook.
That makes
That's
you know
cute.
what? That's interesting because I've been watching a lot of Terrace House. Just to get back to your original, probably more interesting cultural point for most people. I mean, we're clearly cat people, but on Terrace House, I've talked. You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
On
fucking talked about it before, Jamie.
I know. On Terrace House, they have a lot of half Japanese people. They have some like completely foreigners who, as long as you speak Japanese, I think you're eligible and probably like are below a certain age. But every time that they come in like to the house, that's like the first thing that anybody wants to know about them, and they call them Hafa or something like that. They do, like,
Really?
I notice it. Yeah.
Wow.
And so they'll be like, oh, are you Hafa? And they're like, yeah. And then they'll, like, explain where their parents are from or whatever.
Wow.
But it's, like, even if they're half Chinese or whatever, like, it's noticeable to them in a way that it's not necessarily, like, so noticeable for me as a viewer. And I have to think that's partially because they are so used to, like, this much more homogenized sort of environment, you know?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was really jarring when we visited to just be like, I don't know, you just don't realize how used to heterogeneity you are in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always talking about heterogeneity.
Me too.
Heterogeneity and normativity. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh my goodness.
That sounds like a cool tube videos.
It
Yeah,
does.
they're really nice. He has
I
a video where he makes sushi for his cats for their birthday.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's really cute.
I love
What-
these people.
Watching
Yeah, they're
YouTube
really nice.
videos is my, like, numero uno. Like, I've had a stressful or a long day.
Yes.
I'm gonna,
These are
like-
perfect for
I'm
that.
gonna, like, lie on something
Yeah.
soft with my cell phone and just watch YouTube videos, like, mindlessly.
You know what's so perfect about that is like you can just stop whenever you want because at
Right.
most they're like 10 minutes. Wait, if you're
I
watching
stop
a
when I
show,
want to.
if you're watching like a show,
YouTube video.
it has to be like at least 20 minutes
I
where
think
you feel like you're committed to watching it.
that's a good point. I feel like I had the opposite problem, though, because it's a little later than it should be. And I'm like, well, it's only like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll keep doing that until it's
Me
like
too, me
That's
too.
true.
3 a.m. Except that's not true. I don't do it for that. I'm not that self-sabotaging, but
I watch, sometimes I go on Instagram to this paint mixing. There's this woman who does paint mixing videos, and I just watch those. Like, just, like, scroll down her feed and watch every single one. That's very soothing.
my big ones are fail videos I really like. Those, I have a lot of, those help me relieve stress, or like, I'll watch like 30 Rock compilation videos or something like that. I don't know.
The Office bloopers, I will watch.
Yeah, Office bloopers,
Also,
totally.
Mabim Bam animatics. Because
Yes. Those are
there
really
are
good.
so many of them, and like that's like people pull out the really good nuggets, and then they almost always do this like black and white like stop motion animation thing, which is just like very fun and distinctive, and it catches your eye on your feed, and then you're just like in a loop of goofs.
I watched that one that you sent me about the ball and cup one, but then I Googled that trick, and then I got down a YouTube spiral of watching old Penn and Teller videos.
Ball and Cup. I don't remember it.
The one about his like mind being blown. You were referencing like
Bean Freak.
bean freak, freak my bean, freaking my bean.
I didn't realize that's what he was pretending he was watching.
Oh my gosh, Henry is lying across from me, gazing at me. It's so sweet. He's such a sweet freaking angel.
Oh my gosh. All of this talk about pets is making me feel really sad that I'm about to go to China and I'm not going to see my cats for a whole
Oh my
week.
God, when do you leave for China?
On Sunday.
How are you feeling about your trip?
And just to reiterate, it's a Sleepy Thursday episode, so it's only 2.5 days from now. I'm feeling a fun story. Earlier tonight, I called the American
Embassy?
no, it's a fuck.
Is that a weird thing to call? I don't know. Doesn't your grandparents always like, oh, make sure you contact the embassy when you get there? I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called, but it's like this
The American
like network.
Express? The American Airlines?
No, it's this network of doctors who
Doctors
run like
Without Borders.
small. You've got to stop.
American Doctors Without Borders.
They run these
America.
side businesses where they help people get the right immunizations for overseas travel, and I cannot remember what it's called.
Why is that a side business? Aren't there doctors that do that as a business?
Well, let
business?
me tell you what. The first thing I did was I went to my primary care doctor back in January, and I was like, "Hey, I'm here for a checkup, but also I think I'm going to China sometime soon." And he was like, "Oh, okay, let me Google what immunizations you need." And then he went to a website I could have found and scrolled through a list of them and decided, like, from that what I should get. And then
You're like, I want a second opinion.
no, and then I went and got them, but they didn't have one of them, and they said that I have to go to like a travel clinic to get it because they don't like keep it in stock. And so I was like, I'll get around to it. And then I mentioned in passing to Ian that I hadn't that I had one that I still hadn't gotten, and I didn't remember what it was. And so he started panicking and like doing his own research, and he decided that like he came up with a list of immunizations he thought I needed based on Google, and then he checked the immunization list that I gave him like from my online records, and he determined that I was missing one of them, which I also can't remember what it was. And hang on a second. Ian, what was the shot I got tonight? Typhoid? Yeah, typhoid. I was missing typhoid.
You need typhoid for China?
Yeah, apparently. So then I
Quick
started
advertisement for Japan. You don't need any immunizations. You can just go.
That's cool.
Just go. So did your doctor like did a Google
Okay.
search and was like, all right, according to WebMD, it's cancer. And you're like, what? I just need immunizations. He's like, well, it's cancer. So
You have bigger problems right
It's
now.
like, that'll be $500.
you should cancel your trip.
You should cancel your trip.
No.
No, but so I called them and they were like, "Oh, we do them on like Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. We do consults and shots." And I was like, "Well, I'm leaving on Sunday." And she was like, "This Sunday?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so then she was like, "Oh, well, actually, this shot takes like 2 weeks. It's recommended to get it 2 weeks before you leave because it could take like 10 days or so to take full effect." And so she's like, "Let me ask the doctor when he gets home," because she was his wife, and I'll call you back and let you know. And then when he got home and started making meatballs, he was like, some protection is better than no protection, so we'll meet you at the office at 7:00 tonight and we'll give you the shot.
Wow.
And yeah, so they threw their meatballs in a crock pot, drove down the street.
I love that you know these details. What kind of meatballs? Turkey or beef?
I don't know that. I know he's a pediatrician. He works in my
Okay.
town. I know he and his wife were very nice and obviously extremely kind. They didn't even charge me for a consult because I knew what I needed. So they charged me for the shot, but they didn't charge me like for the advice. And they gave me some good advice. Like for instance, especially with my situation where it won't be in full effect when I'm there, I should avoid like any kind of tap water of any kind, which includes ice, which I hadn't thought about.
Yeah. Ice is made out of water.
Yeah.
A little known fact.
So, but I'm like such an ice chewer, like Ben is.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm gonna
Sounds
have
like a
to,
slur.
Ask for things without ice.
Such an ice chewer.
Yeah.
They
Is
also
that
gave
white
you
people from Cape Cod?
They also give you some great advice, like if you throw just a dash of oregano in your meatballs, they really pop.
So shout out to probably Immunization Centers of America or something like that.
You just don't remember anything.
Shout out to American doctors.
Without Borders.
Of America.
America. So, I guess it's I guess I should just segue really smoothly into my thing.
Yep.
You.
So you're
Which
looking
actually-
forward to getting typhoid or not on your China
Yeah,
trip.
he also wrote me a prescription for like an anti like if I get traveler's diarrhea, which is the thing that then he wrote me a prescription that I can take with me, and if I start to feel like I have that, I can take it and it'll help.
I got traveler's diarrhea the other day. I didn't go anywhere, but
I got locals diarrhea.
I got staycation diarrhea.
Hometown diarrhea? I don't know.
I got my in-laws' house diarrhea.
Oh my god.
So speaking of traveling, I also went to Northwest Arkansas this week.
Oh, fun.
Which you guys know, and it's actually what I'm going to talk about for my obsession, because I came away with some hopefully interesting thoughts about sort of like politics and America
Oh.
and stuff that I want to share with you.
Okay. Did you get any insight as to why it's called Arkansas, not Arkansas? And that madness?
Please tell me you cracked that mystery.
I need to know. We need answers, Anna. America needs answers.
I'm still on the case. I'll
Okay.
follow up on that. But the reason I was in Northwest Arkansas is because that's where Wal-Mart is based. They're based in Bentonville, Arkansas. And every company that I've worked for so far has been a consumer products company that either
2 out of 2.
Yeah, true. That either already sells to Walmart or wants to sell to Walmart. Actually, they both already, whatever, it doesn't matter. I meet with Walmart for work. And last year I went there like 6 times. And this year's my first time with my new company. So they do it a little differently here. And because of that, I was able to spend a little bit more time there. Usually it's like fly in, or at my last company, it was like fly in, do the meeting, fly out. And so I would see like the hotel and the office, and that was pretty much it. And that's a lot of time, because actually it takes for fucking ever to get to Bentonville, Arkansas, because there are like no direct flights from here. You can't get there from here. Like everything is, you have to travel all day. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's a known issue. Okay. So one thing that I'm struck with every time I go there, and it especially struck me this time, is that everybody there really loves Walmart, like almost to a creepy degree. They love Walmart and they love the Waltons, because none of them would have most of the stuff that they have in their lives if it wasn't for Walmart and the Waltons, to a really, really like true and serious degree. Like before Walmart started expanding, Bentonville was like one stoplight in the middle of a bunch of fields. I'm not exaggerating. It had like one little intersection. It had Walton's drugstore and maybe 2 stoplights, and that was like all that was going on. And everybody who lives there, most of the people who live there that I've met, still remember that time. Like when we were driving around, they'd point out like that's new and that's new and everything here is new. All of this used to be fields. Like this is brand new and that's brand new. And the only reason any of it is there is because Walmart exists. So it's really like, I've always just found it interesting from a Walmart perspective, from the perspective of someone who lives in any other part of the country where Walmart is very controversial, and like you know, it's seen as like sometimes a blight on the local businesses and community. It's really interesting to be in this like tiny pocket of the world where Walmart is like absolutely the best thing that ever happened to this town.
Wow.
But on another level, it made me think about the way that progressive politicians often talk about corporations. And when I look around when I'm in Bentonville, Arkansas, excuse me.
Marfinville, Arkansas.
And I see like all of the culture that's been brought there because of Walmart. And I'm not saying this was altruistic. Like, here's what I'll say about Walmart and the Waltons. I think that they did put a specific goal on the table for themselves and their company at the beginning, that they wanted to be giving back to their local community exclusively, pretty much, like just their local community. But they very much wanted to from the beginning. They were like building things and starting like companies to benefit the local community from the very beginning. Another not side benefit, but main benefit and reason for them doing this is because you can't get people to move to the middle of nowhere unless you're providing them with a lot of cool, interesting things around there. And if there's nobody else in that area, like in a city, there are lots of things going on, and you don't have to do much, you know, for there to be lots of things going on as a company trying to draw talent. If you are like literally just based in the center of a bunch of fields, you need to create a draw in order to get like the type of talent that you might want, or that you would definitely want. So like, it's not like this was all altruism in any sense, but nevertheless, I can see how that type of rhetoric could ring really hollow and untrue and maybe even disingenuous for someone who lives in that part of the country. Because for them, if you think about like, you grew up in a possibly unincorporated land, like it was barely even a town, you can't really imagine a scenario where the federal government is going to have a great reason to care about you compared to people living in a city. So the only way that they could ever really imagine, you know, seeing the success and the growth that they've seen is from a corporation, like Walmart, you know, starting it's like on a smaller scale, it's like factory towns or like mining towns and stuff like that, where like the local business is it's not just where you work, it's like the reason that the whole place exists, and so there's a lot of loyalty to it. So it just got me thinking about like, I feel like that it may be a little bit of a misstep to talk about corporations in such a fierce manner. On the other hand, like I'm not like turning into a Republican. Like there were a lot of really creepy things happening there. Like there's this like local play place that you can like join that was obviously built by like a Walton, and like kids can go shop in mini Walmarts and they can like drive like mini Walmart trucks and stuff like that. And it's like very like weird and creepy and like dystopian in a lot of ways. Like there's so much more Walmart branding there than you would see anywhere else. From an outside perspective, it feels weird, but like everybody there is extremely used to it, and like most people don't really have any reason to dislike it. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't know. It was just like really, I mean, there was a lot of culture shock this time just because I got to spend more time around there. But that particular aspect of it really kind of jumped out at me as like maybe something that's a little bit underappreciated about why like less densely populated parts of the country feel less connected to like the idea that government can help them, you know?
Gotcha.
But then if you think about, I mean, I was thinking maybe Durham is kind of an interesting counterpoint, although it probably started out as more of a city than Bentonville did. But it's kind of like, do you think it's been like the resurgence that it's seen since the tobacco industry kind of left town? Do you think that that's been partially because of like the city government, or do you think that it has been like largely small businesses, or like what do you think it owes that to, Erin?
I don't think I could tell you. I think the city is very, like, I don't know enough of the history to tell you. I know that the city is very, very small business oriented and focused, and like small businesses, independent restaurants, like that is like our pride and joy,
Right.
and like our focus and our like passion as a city. So I don't know how that started though, like if that was kind of an organic thing or if that was kind of like a it just, you know, was orchestrated in some part by the city. But that's a great question that I'd be interested in finding out.
Well, and Durham has Duke in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a college town.
That
But
helps, yeah.
But when you think about the city, it's not like a college town in that like it's technically a college town, but it's not as like college focused. Like in downtown Durham, it's
Right.
not like there's no like Duke branding on anything, right?
That's true.
It's not, and in fact, the kind of like there are kind of areas where like, oh, that's kind of a Dukey kind of place.
Dookie.
Like it's so I can't say that like I can't say that it's not influenced by that, but it just feels like. But again, there are other aspects of Duke. Like there's the big hospital system. There's like, you know, documentary film studies. There's different like branches of Duke that are a little more, you know, less like fratty and a little more, you know, kind of bring some of that culture and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Interesting.
If that sounded like a diss on Duke undergrad, it definitely was. So.
That was a Duke dunk right there.
Yeah, it's a Duke dunk. I heard somebody, an intern who is applying to my company, who goes to Duke, did a lot of work with like sexual violence awareness and stuff like that, and she said, oh man, I think it was 60% of women at Duke undergrads who are women reported that they had experienced sexual harassment while at Duke, and that's just
God.
like
Holy
the amount of
shit.
people who like reported it.
Right.
It was just like
Ugh.
staggering.
I wonder what that number is for BU. Because I know at least my freshman year, I think BU was being like investigated for not reporting like rapes that happened on campus,
Unbelievable.
or not like reporting them as well as they should.
Yeah.
Like kind of choosing to handle stuff internally when it should have been brought to the authorities and things like that.
Yeah. Gross. Anyway, sorry I got off topic, Hannah.
Oh, that's okay. I was sort of like, I don't have a real, like, a conclusion or anything to it, or, like, a big revelation, except for the fact that it did, like,
It's complicated.
It's complicated, and it's also, like, it makes me feel very curious in, like, an anthropological kind of way of, like, how do some towns kind of start leaning so right, and sometimes start leaning so left, and like why, and because I don't think every small town, even every small town dominated by like a single corporate entity or a single like business, I don't think they end up like quite as sort of conservatively minded as like Northwest Arkansas is. And I did double check like election results from 2016, and it was definitely extremely red in that part of the state, except for, well, Fayetteville was slightly less red, but still went for Trump. But Fayetteville itself is also a college town. So I think that, like, the county...
Are the Waltons Republican contributors or anything? Contributors?
There's not...
Contributors.
The original founder and his wife, I think, are both dead. I don't know if they were... let me see. Wal-Mart, PAC, Walton family contributors favor conservatives. I just told you. Okay. That's not how it goes.
That was my own spin on it.
Nice.
Ben's an artist.
Okay, so I'm starting to get it. Your definition of artist is pretty loose.
Wow.
Whoa.
Fuck you too.
Fucking burnt. Like, real burnt.
Gosh, I just muted my track while it was playing. I wonder what that... I don't think it'll do anything.
I think it'll probably have muted it in that one part.
I don't think
All right,
so.
what's your find?
The Wal-Mart Political Action Committee spent more than $2 million influencing federal elections in the last 5 federal election cycles.
It's not that much.
No, it's not that much, but it was it favored conservatives, it says. And I'm not shocked. I saw a lot of things
That makes sense.
that made me feel like it was a very conservative area. Pretty much everybody I spoke to made some allusion to being religious. I saw a lot of like gender norming and toxic masculinity and that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah.
Well, and giant corporations in general lean right.
Yeah. So
'Cause that's what gives them the tax breaks.
So I'd love to
Yeah.
find like a counter example or something. This is like, these are the moments when I wish that I was like still in the academic world and I could like just launch a study about this with like real scientific method, but I can't. So
Sure you can.
Yeah, I believe in you, Hannah. I believe in you.
Do a study.
I'm just gonna
Anthropology.
pontificate on my podcast instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pontificate.
I thought about saying that, but
Did you know that the word pontificate comes from the Latin word for bridge?
Oh.
no.
Pons pontis. It's the same word that they call
A
the
pond.
Pope in Latin because
Oh.
he is the bridge between humans and God.
Wow.
Cool.
That's a lot of pressure for a dude.
Should we do homework?
And for just a dude, and can't be managed by a simple lady brain.
Yeah.
It's true.
Homework.
Homework.
Herman.
Take down the patriarchy.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, that's my first item.
Okay.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jamila Woods,
Watch the
having
Tiny
a lot
Desk
of
concert.
anxiety about whether I'm pronouncing her front name. Right? Yeah, I would say start with the tiny.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's good. Her front name, her middle name, that would stay the same, and her bottom name. I'm thinking of names now as in a stack rather than
Her
in,
front
in
bottom
linear.
name?
I'm thinking of in vertical and not in linear. Her front bottom name, right? So I would start with the Tiny Desk concert, and then move on to her album HEAVN, which is just heavenly. And should know my name's an artist.
Right.
Oh, my Twitter's @ErinByrne. I do lesbian movie reviews at lesbian movie reviews on Instagram, and Janelle Monáe's an artist.
Right. Ben.
My homework is to watch Jun's Kitchen, and then
Is it
if you're
J-I-N or J-U-N?
J-U-N.
Okay, good.
If you're interested in learning more about him and his wife and seeing them travel around Japan, watch their YouTube channel called Rachel And Jun. They have one of their videos, they go to this like really remote, I think it's like a nature preserve in Hokkaido, which is like the northern island in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It is so beautiful. It was like the coolest thing I've ever seen, and again made me want to go back to Japan. That's a recurring theme the past few weeks. But yeah, it's really good. They have really cute kitties that are trained really well, and he has a couple of videos where he rides his bike around with the kitty in his front
I
seat.
saw one of those.
It's so cute. And they live in like a kind of like remote area surrounded by like rice fields and just like a small road that he rides his bike on. They're just really nice, relaxing videos.
Nice.
My homework is, if you ever get the chance.
Did he do his Twitter?
No, do it.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ, how would people follow him on Twitter?
My Twitter's @NEDiscoGreg. Follow for pictures of my cat Chromo.
Promo.
All right. My homework is, if you ever get the chance to go to Bentonville, Arkansas, you should check it out.
Benville?
Bentonville?
Benville? My town? Benville?
You should check it out.
Go get the Benville diarrheas.
Yeah. Go talk to people and, just hear how interesting they are and their points of view. And, like, also, if you have thoughts on the stuff that I talked about as it relates to a place that you live or that you know really well, I would be really interested to hear about it because that's kind of like science. You know?
Because she's launching a study.
Yeah, because I'm launching a study. If you have a way to help me launch a study, like, get at me. And my Twitter is at Hanthropology, which is relevant to this interest for the first time, maybe ever.
Wow.
I
Not
wonder
for
if
the
my
last
name will
time,
ever
I'm
be
sure.
relevant to my interests.
You like disco?
Nope, not even where the name came from.
All right. Also, if you want to tweet at us as an ear snack, our podcast ear snack, of Twitter is at 2broadpod, TOO broadpod. And you can also email us at waytoobroad@gmail.com. Which is where you can email to help me launch my study. You can join our Facebook group also. Start posting stuff in it because we are lazy about it right now. Erin's not on Facebook anymore. She's not culpable. And also leave us a review on iTunes. And that's it.
Great. Goodbye,
So,
everybody.
The podcast.
We probably won't see you next week.
Oh yeah. We should say that again. So I'm, as I mentioned, going to China. So unless Ben and Erin can get their shit together without me, which is doubtful,
Look.
Shit.
there's not going to be an episode. But we will talk at you the week after that.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.
And the podcast
We love you.
candle
We love you.
is extinguished.
We love you. We love you.
We love you.